Turn around every now and then I go along, and I need you more tonight. Guys, happy 2026 to all of you. Hopefully the audio isn't lagging. I was rewatching the last video, and it lagged at a certain point. So hopefully the audio's all good. But how are you guys doing? New year, new beginning, new game in 2 days in Bergamo against Atalanta. Very, very complicated game. I tend to describe every game as complicated games, but these are the really complicated games that I, actually want to speak about. And it's a very important game. It's a very important game because we're coming from a win and we need to build consistency. But I think the most important reason is because we all want to start well. We want to start the year well. It's always nice to start things well. Whether it's a year, whether it's a book, whether it's a film, you always want to start it well. So we need 3 points to kickstart this very important month, but very important solar year that 2026 has prepared for us. But guys, I want to wish everyone here a happy New Year's. I hope everything went well yesterday. I had fun. I got back quite late and then watched the Stranger Things finale. So I have like 1 hour sleep in me. I'm dead. I'm gonna go to bed at like 9 p.m. today. I'm absolutely cooked. But yeah, if you did watch the Stranger Things finale, don't spoil it, but let me know in the live chat. And yeah, look, I hope this year will be your year. Focus on your objectives, dream big, and start treating your dreams as hobbies. That's my motivation of the year. Look at them, face them, and challenge them. So yeah, look, do we want to start off there with a 100 like target? I think we can do that. Yeah, let's start off the year with a 100 like target on this video. I am also very interested to see what Gasperini says tomorrow, and I will react to this press conference. I want to get now that the new year has started. I want to get back more consistent. That's definitely something. And I am going to react to more press conferences. I've missed a few because I think some press conferences don't deserve to be reacted at all. But tomorrow's one is interesting because it's Gasperini's return. So I think it's interesting to conceptualize what he thinks about his return. He spent there a lot. He spent a lot of time in Bergamo. He changed that team. So I think also when it comes to tactically analyzing this game for us, I mean, is it a bonus point for us because he knows the players that he's going to face? Is it a minus point because the players know how the manager sets out his teams? It's an interesting game. It's a very interesting game. But we'll see what he says tomorrow. But let's look at this game. Let's analyze Atalanta. Let's speak about ourselves. And of course, I will show you my predictor 11 for this game as always. But yeah. Okay, Atalanta. Let's start with Atalanta. We always start with the opponents. New year, but same beginnings, same routine. We always begin with the others. What I can say about Atalanta is that I expected this season from Atalanta, and I said this. If you go back on Instagram or on TikTok on Roma Theory, I filmed my Serie A predictions in August. And I put Atalanta around the 8th spot, if I'm not wrong. If not even lower. 9th or 8th, I put them. So this season from Atalanta doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me because somebody who's watched the Serie A for his entire life knows that the reason Atalanta became competitive was because of Gasperini. Now, okay, of course, there's a balance of everything. It's not like Gasperini is the only reason that Atalanta became competitive. The manager is definitely the number one, but you have the owners that backed the manager. You have the manager which trusted the players and the players that trusted the manager. So it's definitely a cycle of things. But the main reason which led to Atalanta's competitiveness is exactly this. It's the manager. So if you remove Gasperini from this equation, you will see the players struggle. Also because Gasperini is somebody that maybe I feel like we still need to see this properly at Roma, but at Atalanta, every player he got, he in some way they were very malleable players. They were players that he genuinely transformed. And the two biggest examples for me are Ederson. Ederson without Gasperini is like Friendrup from Genoa. Ederson with Gasperini was like had elements of prime Kante in him. Ederson without Gasperini, and I've watched a lot of Atalanta games this season, is a completely ordinary player. Ordinary player. The other example is Lookman. People will say it's not the perfect example because he fell out, because he's barely ever playing, and I agree. But the times that he's played this season, what has he done? Can I ask everybody here, what has that man done the times that he has played this season? The few times, because I think up until October he didn't play, he didn't start. But ever since October went by, he became back. He came back in the squad. Then he fell out with Juric, but then Juric got sacked. Now even with Palladino, what is he doing? So these are all examples of players that are good players. I'm not saying that they're terrible, but players that have overperformed because of the manager they worked with. So I'm not surprised by this season. I'm not surprised because I know that Gasperini was the lightning bolt of that team, and removing Gasperini from it would have kind of replaced Atalanta back in their reality. Okay. But having said that, I also feel like their manager decision this summer was inexplicable. How can you possibly go from Gasperini to Juric? And I said this already, but people compare Gasperini and Juric. People justify the Juric pick because people say that Juric is a student of Gasperini. Juric has elements of Gasperinian football in him. Shut up. Shut up. It's like comparing I don't know, the Colosseum to what? Give me another monument that is very overhyped around the world. It's like comparing the Colosseum to the Sydney Opera House. Like, with all due respect, I love Australia. My dream is to go there. But it's two things. Despite being the number one monument in Italy and the number one monument in Australia, you can't compare the two. Because one was built, 2,000, 3,000 years ago? The other one was built 100 years ago. So it's like going, it's two things that you can't compare. So people that went with Juric because Juric is plays like Gasperini. No, he doesn't play like Gasperini. So the pick never made sense, never worked out. Adding on to that, Juric is somebody we know it ourselves who falls out with everyone. He fell out with Lookman. They got Palladino, who's interesting. I like Palladino. But I think the slow start that Atalanta has had with Juric will lead repercussions. Because, if Atalanta had started with Palladino from the very beginning, I can see them compete for, I don't think Champions League, but Europa League for sure. Because I do think Atalanta have a good team. I think there are elements of Atalanta's team that are better than you. For example, the attack. I think Atalanta's attack is way better than yours. You've got a better midfield, and you've got a better defense, and you've got a better goalkeeper. But the attack, Atalanta's is 100 times better than yours. So Scamacca, Lookman, De Ketelaar, Sulemana, all interesting players that would start in our attack for sure. But yeah, I think the slow start won't make Atalanta compete for Champions League for sure. If they can get Europa League despite that slow start, I think it would be a miracle. They're not doing bad in the Champions League though. In the Champions League, they're doing quite well. They beat Chelsea. They beat Marseille at the Velodrome. They beat Frankfurt in Frankfurt. So in the Champions League, they've done well. They're a good team. Which is this is a tough game. I mean, this is not an easy game at all. Going to Bergamo is never easy. Playing against Atalanta is never easy. We have a bad record with them. I believe the last time we beat them was with Jose. One of the best games that Jose has had as Roma manager. I remember it was years ago, but we always struggle in Bergamo. Can Gasperini on our side now change this? Hopefully. He knows their players. He knows how they set out, they play. So I definitely expect some strategies to limit them. I must say, this is a big game. Despite Atalanta not being a Champions League contender this season, this is a big game under all effects. But I must say, if you lose this big game as well, then you won't get top four. You won't get top four because you need to beat some games. You need to beat some big teams. It's impossible for us to get in the Champions League only if we beat the low middle table teams. It's impossible. It's impossible. And maybe it's not impossible in these editions of the Serie A because a lot of teams lose points, but you won't get top four if you don't win big games. We've got 0 points out of all big games. Well, maybe not 0 because I think Bologna's a big game, Lazio's a big game, Como's a big game this season. So, I mean, Milan, Napoli, Inter, Juve, you've got 0 points. 0 points out of 12. Out of 12. 0 points out of 12. So, you need a win. You need something. Look, maybe not against this Atalanta, because I think if you want to challenge for top 4, you need to try and beat this Atalanta team. But against the rest, even draws wouldn't have been bad. But we never draw. So I said this last time. If you don't win, you lose. Which means you get 0 points. And then you add them up and you never climb because you always get 0 points. So even some draws would be good in some big games. But we've bottled all of them. So we can't really bottle another one. We can't. If we were to lose in tomorrow or after tomorrow, Champions League would be very hard in my opinion. You need to kind of change your direction in big games. You do. And I think this game is important for this reason because not only you're starting in a year, but you need to start your year in a high. Also because if you lose this game, you would come from a very inconsistent path in the league. Defeat against Juve, win against Genoa, defeat against Cagliari, win against Como. Let's say you lose against Atalanta. It would be, it would have a lot of inconsistency in it. So we need to try and go for it. We need to try and go for it. It's not easy. I don't see us as clear favourites. It's actually strange because I see a first draw against Atalanta. Predicting a draw for Roma is something that will never happen. I mean, the last time we drew a game was in April in the derby with that Mati Sule goal. We never draw. So predicting draws for us is a hazard. It's like how to lose money for free. But I do see a draw on Saturday. I do. I can see it the first draw of the season for us. I can see it because I see a very balanced game. And I see a game where both teams can't lose. Roma can't lose because they can't lose another big game. Atalanta can't lose because they can't lose more points. And they're coming from a defeat against Inter, which was a big game, where I don't think they deserved to lose. So again, Atalanta's dangerous, guys. But we'll see what happens. My predicted 11 is this. Svilor, Ziokowski, Mancho, Hermoso, Wesley, Cristante, Kone, and Wrench, Mati, Paolo, Ferguson. I'm going to say this now. If Gasperini changes that attack, we're losing this game. If Gasperini changes that stupid attack, we're not going to win this game. That attack needs to play. Those 3 need to play. No one else can play or needs to play this game. Those 3. No Dovbyk, no Baldanzi, Pellegrini's injured. El Shaarawy I can see, but it worked well against Genoa. Keep it. Bloody hell. Keep that trio. Stop changing it every week. Because one of the reasons why I think we struggle is because we constantly change our front lineup. And that's not good. Keep that front 3. People asking for Çelik. The reason I don't want Çelik for this game is because I see a very open game. And if I think of the last open game that we played, it was against Como, and we played a very good game. Who started in that game? Wrench. I don't see a closed game because these are two teams with two philosophies that don't close, that search for goals, and that want goals. So I expect an open game, head to head, one side, another side, one side, another side, entertaining game. And when that's the case, I think Wrench is way better because Wrench has maybe a rhythm that Chilik doesn't have. So that's what, maybe it's wishful thinking for Wrench starting, but that's what I want to see. Ziolkowski to keep on starting because he's playing well. Against Juventus, he played great. Against Genoa, he played great. And then in the middle, we don't have many other solutions because Elena is in AFCON. Pizzilli, I think I read it has a fever. You only have Cristante and Kone. By the way, transfer session is opened. I'm going to say this now. If by the 7th of January we don't have a signing done, Gasperini will explode. If by the 7th of January Gasperini doesn't have a new player in his hands, Gasperini will burst. Because I've been listening to his latest press conferences and he's nervous. He's nervous. So he needs players. January we've got so many games. So if by the 7th of January, I don't care who, but if by the 7th of January, I would even dare to say the 5th of January, but due to the fact that the 5th of January is in like 3 days, and knowing the timings that this team has, if by the 7th of January, this man has no new signings, this boy isn't serious. This boy isn't serious. And I'll add another thing. If by the 7th of January this man doesn't have a new signing in his hands, you're reducing the chances that we get Champions League football. Because every moment that goes by is a moment that you lose against Juventus. Because Juventus currently have a better team than you, because Juventus have found rhythm, because Juventus have found momentum. And Juventus have a very favourable calendar. And I think that challenge needs to be against Juventus. So in order to compete against Juventus and buy time, you need to reinforce your team. And that's by adding signings. So the more days it's like a clock. The more seconds go by, the more the chances that we get Champions League reduce. It genuinely, and by the 31st of January, or the 1st of February, whenever the transfer window closes, I will say if we will get Champions League or not. My answer to whether we get Champions League football this season comes on the 1st of February, when I see what this manager got from this transfer session. So the 1st of February, I will give you a yes or no answer of whether we will get in the Champions League or not. But right now, the focus should be on this game, and let's focus on this game. I hope this year will be our year. I see something like 1-1 first half, 2-3 final score. I expect a crazy game. Honestly, the only thing that remained in my mind for Juric was the crouch beside the sideline. Not sure how Juric still gets top league jobs. Torino game is so aching me, not even talking about the recent... the Torino defeat is the defeat that irritates me the least. The defeats that irritate me the most are Cagliari. Fucking hell, that Cagliari game was the worst game of the season. Cagliari and the Napoli game. Those two games are the games that irritate me the most. The Torino game, I'll say it until the season ends, doesn't irritate me because that Torino defeat was part of the path. Because I've said it already. If you won that Torino game, you wouldn't have won the derby. That Torino defeat was a bad defeat, but it was a defeat that really was part of it was part of the plan. It was part of the path to follow. The Cagliari defeat wasn't, and the Napoli defeat wasn't because nobody expected it in terms of the moment it came in. But that Torino defeat doesn't bother me at all. because I know that if we would have won that game, we wouldn't have won the derby the following week. I think Rensch will not start, but the rest look good. If we get a signing early, who do you see being the most possible from the ones rumored? Raspadori. I think, I'll say it now, I think both Zirkzee and Raspadori come. My prediction is that we'll sign both, but Zirkzee I think will take more because Man United have a lot of players in AFCON. So they need those players to come back before they can let him go. But I can see both of them happen. And from what I'm gathering, Roma really wants to get both of them done. Dybala and Sule will 100% start. Ferguson will score in this match if he starts. Okay, guys. I'm going to catch you tomorrow with Gasperini's press conference reaction. Happy New Year again. Big 2026 to all of you. Hit that like button. If we can get 100 likes on the first video of 2026, it would be great stuff. Yeah, hit that like, subscribe, turn the bell notification button. Stick along this season. Buckle up because we've got a big year ahead. I'll talk to you soon. Simo out.